You strike a woman, you strike a rock.
I wanna leave my footprints on the sands of time.
Mamokgethi Phakeng, Professor Phakeng, I should say, the UCT Vice Chancellor. 8 minutes now to 9. All right, Professor, I was watching, and your Twitter account's interesting, it goes all over the place. I was watching on Twitter at the beginning of the year, and you went from residence to residence at UCT to meet all the first-year students. Did you catch them doing anything they shouldn't be doing? Was the first thing I was like, are you mad? What were you doing? What were you thinking?
Nothing that...
Oh, you're hiding something.
Here's the thing. Actually, the only thing that I found that I didn't pay attention to, but other people did. Because in some rooms I come and I say, can I take a video? Can we do? So I took a video of this room of one of these students. It's not a first year student. I think he's second year. And there was a bottle of alcohol, like I think it's expensive alcohol, and he had put it there. But next to it, there's it was a sort of a certificate of his high performance at high school, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I got to that space because I was attracted to the certificate, and here I am talking to him on the video, and I'm asking him about the certificate, whatever. And then we put the video on Twitter because he said, "Yeah, of course, put it." People on Twitter said, "Prof, you are not saying anything about the bottle. How can you not?" Truth be told, I never noticed the bottle. It's not that I turned a blind eye. I didn't. There also was these students who will laugh, and I have to say, because he told the story in public recently. I went to Lee Speak Gardens, our residence, and these are the second or third tier res, I think second tier res, so older students. As I'm walking around, so I said to them, show me, show me, and it's impromptu, they didn't know I'm coming. Show me around, I want to see how the rooms look like. The first room that we go past is the room of one of the students who's also on the house committee. So he says, come in, I go in there, it's so messy, like clothes on the floor.
I would have had that room.
But his computer is out, the books, you can see he's working. So I say to him, wow, this is a working room. I mean, he's embarrassed that it's mess, whatever, but it's a working room. It's like, and then I look, there's eggs. I'm like, protein? You even eating protein? Like, so and that one we didn't video. He said, please, Prof, don't. And I said, no, we're not. We're not, and I forgive you because I can see you working. It's not like it's messy because you've been partying, drinking, or whatever. It's because you're doing things worthwhile.
I mean, this was before a certain constitutional court judgment which might have changed the lives of some students around a certain medicinal herb. That,
I cannot say it wasn't there, but I didn't see it.
You don't see it. Okay.
And I don't have a sense of smell, Stephen. What a good thing. People wonder why I live such a happy life. It's because I don't have a sense of smell. So I hug, I walk into rooms, maybe those things, maybe the herb is there, but I can't even smell it.
To ask about this, so I mean, I was a student, I was at the student, the marketing department of that university gets very cross when I call it the university currently known as Rhodes, but it is the university currently known as Rhodes. And I mean, for me, I was very privileged. My parents could pay for it, etc. I mean, I was very lucky. And most of the stories that you'd hear in society about students were students having fun. Doing this, doing that, getting into trouble, but sort of fun trouble, if you know what I mean. Now, the stories that you hear are hard stories. Young people going through very difficult times, depression, and I think mental illness and depression, and I don't know if it's around social media or maybe the drugs have changed, I don't know what it is. But I just get the feeling, and you manage, primary institution in this country around this, that being a young person is much harder than it was 20 years ago.
It is much harder. But also we should also realize that we get to know the news much more today than we used to before. I mean, I can remember the reason why I went to University of Botswana is because my dad had stories about what happened at the University of Limpopo, which was then Teflon. That sexual violence was big, and he said, you're not going to that place. So, but it wasn't something that was spoken about. Universities didn't keep data. It wasn't, So I think there were things that were happening, but they were much covered. Mental health issues were never talked about. I mean, I keep thinking, I actually probably do have ADHD, but I was never diagnosed. I probably managed to manage it. My son has got it. My nephews have got all sorts of ADD. But I look at my behavior and I'm like, I do have this. I've learned how to manage it. But things are more in the open now. But life is harder. Social media makes it harder. Things are much more in the open. There's more pressure, there's more competition, there's more students' rivalry in terms of, competition, if you like, especially in a space where, like UCT, where we recruit very capable students who are used to being the top in the class. They suddenly come to the university and there are other people who are just as smart as they are. They've never had that kind of situation. They have to cope with it. They also come from different socioeconomic backgrounds.
I was going to come to that.
Yeah, they come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Suddenly you realize actually what you had gotten used to and gotten to survive with, it's actually real poverty. People are, and you've got to cope with that and academics and all sorts of things that you're expected to do. I think it's hard. And academic life is also more demanding because of your access to knowledge. I mean, I think we expect much more from our students because knowledge is so accessible. So the kinds of assignments we give are probably much more demanding than they were before because we take for granted they do have access, so they've got to be able to do this. So the mental illness has gone up. Sexual violence is rife on many campuses. And I have to say it's also because we are opening it up. I mean, we at UCT don't only take data of students who have experienced it on our campuses, even if it happens on main road, which is outside. As long as it's our student, we record it. There's more focus on that, and rightfully so. I think the world is harsher, and social media puts a different kind of pressure. So people might not even be on your campus, and they still put pressure on you in so many ways to be something else, to do something else. Drugs are much more available now, different kinds. I mean, it's not it's not just the herb. In the past, when I was at varsity, the herb was the thing, but now there's a variety of these things. So I think life is harder for young people today.
I've literally got 30 seconds left, and there's a lot to talk about with what's going on in the country and the difficulties in the economy and all of that stuff. But you strike me as a natural optimist.
I'm optimistic, absolutely. You have to be. I mean, if you're not, what's your tomorrow? And to be honest, what keeps me optimistic is also our young people. As much as we've got so many challenges, I look at our students and I'm like, yes, we've got a future. And people wonder why I take selfies with young people all the time. It's because I look at them and I can see we've got leaders, we've got CEOs, we've got people who are going to change the world. And I say to them, I'm taking a picture with you so that when you run the world, I can claim to have known you for years.
I like that. Professor, it's been really good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for taking time out this Friday to talk to us, and good luck with everything you do.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Professor
Mamokgethi Phakeng, and of course it will be a podcast with Sani's been here the whole time. He says that he's filming. I don't believe him. I think he just wanted to be here. My thanks really to Professor Phakeng, the Vice Chancellor.
You strike a woman, you strike a rock.
I wanna leave my footprints on the sand.